So are you tired of winning yet? Because not one of the so-called 200 executive orders that the Orange Messiah has signed has gotten rid of all these H-1Bs and work visas that they're flooding the country with. In the meantime, the jobs numbers are abysmal, right? The recent jobs numbers are absolutely terrible. And before you criticize me and say, like, well, you don't usually weigh in on politics a whole bunch. Yeah, politics is weaving its way into everything now. It's going to be almost impossible to not comment on this stuff because it's getting into absolutely everything, including the job market, the domestic job market. How many Americans have just straight given up trying to find jobs because they look at it and go, dude, this is ridiculous. You know, I've gone in for 5 interviews, then we start talking salary, then I get ghosted. Yeah, you know what that is? That's that company going through all the hoops so that then they can legitimately say, if they want to say it that way, they can like legally say on paper, well, we went through all these employees, we went through all these new hires or potential new hires, and we couldn't find anybody qualified. So give us a bunch of H-1Bs, some geniuses from the land of cheap geniuses. Don't move your company there. Don't do that. You know, you should move your company. I mean, like, dude, if there's a land of cheap geniuses out there, you should be moving your entire company there and don't come back. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Turn in your passport and fuck off. That's what you should do, CEOs. I mean, if there's a land of cheap geniuses that are out there, dude, you should be going there. Clearly, that's what you should be doing. Why are you still here? Well, you're here because of all the legal protections. That's why you're still here. You're here because the corporate taxes favor you. That's why you're still here. No, I say get your shit and get the fuck out and stay gone. Get gone, stay gone, or be gone. That's what should be happening to all of you people. Or you can hire Americans. You're telling me you can't find genius Americans around here? There's lots of them. You're telling me you can't find Americans to drive semi-trucks? There's tons of them. They just won't drive for these companies because companies abused them. Companies are supposed to go to business. They are. They're supposed to go to business completely. I've covered that like dozens of times here. So you're telling me you have to keep importing people. And again, like, you're a messiah. And I don't know who, you guys who support this stuff, I don't know what it's going to take. I think many of you are too far gone. I think, for real, I think that you have pivoted beyond just mere support politically for someone who has kind of your ideals. And I think you've gone into this God Emperor thing. For real, I think a lot of you have jumped the shark and now you are just a full-blown fucking religion at this point. And there's really no saving you with this. I don't think there's any saving you. No amount of objective reality. 200,000 deportations. That is not mass deportations. Remember, 40 to 50 million illegals are in this country right now. Now that's a low number. Take the low number of 40 million, even deporting 50,000 per day, 7 days a week. And that's unique deportations, by the way, meaning that not the same guy, because most of the time you deport them, they come back like 3 days later. They just walk across the border 3 days later. Okay, let's assume that you did 50,000 unique deportations per day. It takes 800 days straight. 50,000 per day. That's a stadium of people every single day, nonstop, 7 days a week. That's mass deportations. That ain't going to happen. The only way that happens is you put a bounty on them. That's it. That's the only way that happens, is just you just unleash the American people, the very pissed off and very broke American people who can barely afford their fucking bills at this point. Unleashing them and saying, dude, you get this much money per ear. That's the only way it's going to go down. So I'm not trying to be mean about this. I'm being practical, and I'm straight telling you guys, most of you people are just too far gone. You know, if you're still supporting this, any of this administration, you are too far gone. And I'm talking, like, because you're buying all this propaganda. Like, well, you know, because a lot of you, I think what you've done is you've taken your brain out and said, oh, well, it's a Republican. He's got this. Yeah. Lindsey Graham's a Republican. John McCain's a Republican. Are you kidding me? Crenshaw is a Republican. That doesn't mean anything to me. These guys are, come on. If you're still thinking in terms of parties, you are truly too far gone at this point. You are not salvageable as a person any longer. You are actually mentally defective. Not mentally ill, mentally defective at this point. If you still believe all that crap, come on. That there's the two-part, come on. These guys are all on the same side. Stop me where you think I'm wrong. But no, your Messiah has not stopped any of this stuff and is not going to. I don't care what kind of sanctions he puts on India or any kind of tariffs or whatever. It doesn't matter. Dude, until you stop the flood of all, not just India, dude, everywhere. And then go the other way and say, nope, you guys all need to leave now. You guys like, no. Sorry that all these companies, and by the way, you should be billing all these giant NGOs for all those deportations. All these companies that have been doing this, Microsoft and others, not just Microsoft, but all these other companies that have been funding all of this H-1B stuff, you should be sending them a bill for all this deportations. Because they're the ones who caused all this. There are plenty, I assure you, plenty of Americans who can do jobs here. Plenty of them. And they're the ones you keep saying, oh, we can't find anybody. We need to hire more people from the land of cheap geniuses. Like I said, if you're just trying to get, the people from the land of cheap geniuses, get your shit and get the fuck out and stay gone. That's really what the attitude should be. You're not going to hear that from the Orange Messiah because, of course, they just keep giving him tribute. They keep giving him, $1 million here, $1 million there to support his ridiculous lifestyle, this ridiculous Joffrey lifestyle where he has to be a hero for everything. He wants his face on Mount Rushmore. He's been pretty honest about that. That's psychotic. No normal person thinks like that. No normal person thinks like ever. No actual competent leader thinks like that. They're like, dude, can we get stuff done for the people here? Because the people are the ones that actually, are important here. Not a bunch of sycophants that give us a couple of $1 million here and there. So you believe whatever you want, but if you're still buying all this crap, dude, you get what you deserve.